There is a battle inside you so quiet that most people never notice it. A collision between two forces that shape every choice you make, every victory you chase, and every fear you hide. One voice pushes you to rise, conquer, exceed every limit, and bend the world to your will. Another urges you to step back, breathe, see clearly, and free yourself from the storms that never belong to you. This conflict is not philosophy for scholars. It is the architecture of your daily life. It is the reason you break under pressure or rise above it. It is the engine behind your ambition and the whisper behind your peace. According to Marcus Aurelius, a man's true worth is measured by the things he allows to disturb him. This is the tension pulling your entire existence in two different directions. On one side, Friedrich Nietzsche, the provocateur of power, calling you to shape the world with force and self-creation. On the other, Epictetus, the guardian of inner freedom, reminding you that the world has never been yours to control in the first place. But here is the truth that changes everything. These two forces are not enemies. They are the two halves of the internal war that every modern mind faces, especially in a society built on the pressure to stand out while silently drowning in anxiety. Welcome to the Stoic Lighthouse. Let the Stoic Lighthouse guide you toward peace and wisdom. If this message resonates, tap like and subscribe to strengthen this community growing in clarity and resilience. As you listen, notice which voice speaks louder inside you. The one that demands the world to change, or the one that dares you to master yourself. Because understanding this internal conflict may be the only way to stop living at war with your own mind. Now we dive into the first force shaping your life, how you see the world and how the world shapes you. Number 1, worldview, clash or clarity. There comes a point in nearly every American life when the world stops feeling like a home and begins to resemble a proving ground. A place where you are measured by output, evaluated by comparison, and pressured into believing that worth is something you earn through constant performance. This worldview mirrors the fire of Friedrich Nietzsche, who saw life not as a place of comfort, but as an arena where only those with enough inner force break free from mediocrity. His philosophy echoes through modern culture, from hustle-driven offices to the quiet desperation inside minds, taught never to settle, never to slow down, and never to admit fear. Friedrich Nietzsche challenged us with this stark conviction: what does not kill me makes me stronger. Yet a life framed entirely by conflict creates its own kind of fragility. When the world is perceived as an enemy, every obstacle becomes a threat, and every moment of uncertainty feels like failure. Many people today live inside this tension without realizing it. They inhale pressure as if it were oxygen, convinced that the only way to survive is to keep fighting, keep climbing, keep winning. But a worldview shaped only by resistance can blind you to the possibility of peace. Epictetus offered a radically different lens. He did not demand that you overpower the world. He urged you to understand what truly belongs to you. In a society obsessed with control, his insight feels almost rebellious. Epictetus taught, do not seek for events to happen as you wish. Wish for them to happen as they do, and your life will flow smoothly. This is not surrender. It is strategic clarity. When you stop forcing the world to bend to your expectations, you stop losing energy to battles that were never yours. This shift is subtle, but revolutionary. It restores power to the one place where it always existed, your own perception. Marcus Aurelius expanded this understanding with a reminder that continues to echo through time. Marcus Aurelius observed, the soul becomes invincible when it retreats into itself. That retreat is not withdrawal. It is a recalibration, a recognition that your strength does not depend on the behavior of the world, but on your ability to meet the world as it is. William B. Irvine brings this ancient tension into the modern American reality. He notes that much of our suffering is manufactured by the gap between how we expect life to behave and how it actually unfolds. The world is not cruel for failing to meet our desires. Our desires simply misjudge the nature of the world. When this gap closes, even slightly, suffering softens. So the real question is not whether life is hard, it is how you have chosen to see it. A battlefield demanding constant defense or a teacher offering constant refinement. Your worldview does not just influence your path, it shapes the person you become while walking it. And sometimes the heaviest pain is not what life does to you, but what your expectations demand from it. Number 2. Ego, power, or prison. In the modern American landscape, ambition is celebrated almost as a civic duty. You are encouraged to build a name, chase a legacy, outperform your peers, and become someone the world cannot ignore. This drive often feels empowering, and at times it is. It echoes the fire of Friedrich Nietzsche, who believed the self should not be tamed but unleashed. His philosophy resonates in every entrepreneur burning through sleepless nights, every high achiever chasing the next milestone, every person convinced that greatness requires stretching beyond all limits. Friedrich Nietzsche declared, "Become who you are." But this call to self-creation carries a hidden danger. When the ego expands faster than the self-awareness that should guide it, you begin living inside a hall of mirrors. Every action becomes an attempt to prove something. Every achievement must outshine the last. Every mistake feels catastrophic. The ego whispers that you must chase validation to stay relevant, that your worth depends on the applause of others. What begins as empowerment quietly becomes dependence. Epictetus saw this trap with piercing clarity. He knew that the ego, when driven by external impressions, becomes a fragile construct, collapsing the moment reality refuses to cooperate. Epictetus reminded us, if you wish to be invincible, do not enter battles where victory is not yours to decide. The person consumed by ego fights every battle. The person anchored in wisdom chooses only the battles within. This distinction is liberation. When your identity no longer hinges on outcomes you do not control, you stop being tossed around by the emotions of the day. You stop needing to win to feel whole. Marcus Aurelius deepened this insight by exposing the illusion of invulnerability that pride tries to sell us. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is when we think we are at our strongest that we must become most vigilant. Pride disguises itself as confidence, but it is an emptiness that constantly demands to be filled. It leads to posturing, comparison, and fear of being exposed. And the more we feed it, the more it consumes us." Chrysippus framed the issue in a way that still cuts through modern noise. Chrysippus expressed it simply, "Do not value things that are beyond your own mind." This is not rejection of ambition, it is instruction on where ambition belongs. The world may applaud your achievements, but only you decide whether your mind remains chained or free. In contemporary terms, William B. Irvine describes this as an emotional addiction to status. The more you chase external validation, the more your peace depends on forces you cannot command. The ego convinces you that you are climbing, yet it secretly drags you into dependence on constant recognition. And dependence is a prison, no matter how gilded it looks from the outside. The truth is that real strength does not come from proving yourself, it comes from no longer needing to. When you no longer rely on external approval to feel grounded, you become untouchable, not because the world praises you, but because the world can no longer control you. Number 3, freedom, self-creation, or self-mastery. In America, freedom is a national identity. People chase financial freedom, creative freedom, geographic freedom, freedom from bosses, freedom from limits. It is the foundation of the American dream. Yet millions feel more trapped than ever. This paradox mirrors the clash between Nietzsche and Epictetus. One urges you to create a life so bold that no rule can contain you. The other warns that a person who cannot govern themselves is never truly free, no matter how wide the world opens around them. Friedrich Nietzsche insisted, freedom is the value a spirit has for itself. For Nietzsche, freedom meant breaking the expectations society places on you, redefining your values, escaping the gravitational pull of mediocrity. Many Americans resonate with this idea. Reinvent yourself, build your own path, refuse the scripts handed to you. But there is a cost to a life built on constant reinvention. Without an internal anchor, every new direction becomes another escape. Every breakthrough is followed by a quiet fear that you might lose control again. The pursuit of total autonomy can begin to feel like a chase with no finish line. Epictetus offered a freedom far less glamorous, but far more durable. He understood that a person chasing external freedom without internal mastery becomes controlled by impulses, emotions, and reactions they cannot predict. Epictetus explained, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This form of freedom does not depend on circumstances. It does not depend on income. It does not depend on opportunity. It depends on discipline, on clarity, on choosing responses instead of being dragged by them. And for many people today, this is the missing element. They have more options than any generation before them, yet less control over their inner world. Marcus Aurelius pointed to this truth long before modern anxiety became a cultural epidemic. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "The greatest power is the mastery of one's own mind. Freedom without mastery becomes chaos. Mastery without freedom becomes rigidity. Real liberation requires both. The courage to shape your life and the discipline to shape your mind." William B. Irvine brings this into the present. We obsess over external freedom while remaining prisoners of comparison, fear, anger, and impulse. We remove physical limits, but leave psychological chains untouched. Here is the quiet truth most people avoid. You can move to a new city, change your career, escape a relationship, reinvent your life. But if you do not master the forces inside you, the same patterns will follow wherever you go. Freedom begins internally, or it does not begin at all. Number 4, pain and struggle, fuel or foundation. Every American grows up hearing that adversity builds character, that pressure creates diamonds, that struggle is the price of success. This message is everywhere, in sports, in business, in personal development. And at the core of it stands Friedrich Nietzsche, who believed that greatness requires tension, disruption, and friction. His philosophy resonates deeply with a culture that glorifies resilience and celebrates those who push through exhaustion, burnout, and emotional collapse in pursuit of achievement. Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star." There is truth in this. Pain can sharpen you, struggle can toughen you. But when pain becomes identity, when suffering becomes the metric for worth, something breaks. You stop growing and start grinding. You confuse exhaustion with progress. You wear your scars like proof that you belong. A culture obsessed with strength often produces people who do not know how to rest, how to heal, or how to step back before they collapse. Epictetus approached pain from a different angle. He did not romanticize suffering. He saw it as a test of who you are beneath comfort. Pain reveals. Pain clarifies. Pain strips away illusions and exposes what you still need to learn. Epictetus taught, hardship shows the true character of a person. His message is simple. Pain is not the goal. Pain is the classroom. Many Americans misunderstand adversity. They chase discomfort for validation. They punish themselves to feel worthy. They assume endurance equals growth. But pain without reflection becomes pointless, and struggle without understanding becomes self-destruction. Marcus Aurelius captured this balance with steady clarity. Marcus Aurelius observed, "No tree becomes strong without the wind. The wind matters, it strengthens you, but the tree does not seek the storm, it endures it when it comes." This is the Stoic stance. Do not run from suffering and do not worship it. Use it. Let it refine you instead of define you. Chrysippus added a deeper layer to this idea, focusing not on the pain itself, but on the meaning you assign to it. Chrysippus framed it this way: we are troubled not by events, but by how we interpret them. Pain itself does not build strength. Your interpretation of pain does. Your response shapes your resilience. Your meaning creates your transformation. In a culture where many feel overwhelmed, anxious, and emotionally stretched, this truth matters more than ever. William B. Irvine notes that people often mistake constant struggle for growth. They assume that suffering is required for improvement. But what truly builds strength is conscious engagement with adversity, not drowning in it, not chasing it, not glorifying it, understanding it. So ask yourself, is your pain shaping you or consuming you? Is it sharpening your character or draining your spirit? Pain is not the enemy, but it is also not the hero. It is the raw material. What you build with it is what defines you. Number 5. Legacy, what truly remains. In the United States, people chase legacy the way others chase survival. You are taught to leave a mark, build something lasting, make your life undeniable. This hunger echoes Friedrich Nietzsche, who believed that a life without impact was a life wasted. His voice still rings through American culture, where ambition is often measured in visibility and legacy is confused with reputation. Friedrich Nietzsche urged, think each day whether you are advancing toward your own legacy. Nay, but when legacy becomes performance, you begin living for an audience that may never applaud. You sacrifice peace for significance. You forget that a legacy built only on achievement fades the moment attention shifts. Epictetus pointed in another direction. He believed legacy is not the monument others build for you, but the character you build within. Epictetus reminded us, do not seek to be remembered, seek to be virtuous. A quiet impact often outlasts a loud one. A life lived with integrity shapes people more deeply than any achievement carved in stone. Marcus Aurelius brought brutal honesty to this idea. Marcus Aurelius reflected, very soon you will be forgotten, and so will those who remembered you. This is not pessimism, it is liberation. When you stop chasing immortality, you start living honestly. You start caring more about how you treat people than how the world interprets your story. William B. Irvine highlights that the modern obsession with legacy traps people in a cycle of comparison and insecurity. They build images instead of lives. They pursue recognition instead of fulfillment. They forget that legacy is not something you force. It is something you leave behind naturally. So the real question is simple. Are you trying to be admired or trying to be real? Because what truly remains is not the world's memory of you, but the quiet transformation you leave in others. Every person lives with two forces competing inside them. One pushes you toward power, achievement, and self-creation. The other pulls you toward clarity, discipline, and inner peace. Nietzsche ignites your fire. Epictetus steadies your hand. Marcus Aurelius grounds your judgment. Chrysippus sharpens your perception. William B. Irvine translates the ancient struggle into modern psychology. And you stand at the center of all of it, choosing daily which voice shapes your life. This is the real conflict of the human experience. Will you be driven by the noise of the world or anchored by the strength within? Will you fight endlessly for control or learn the freedom of mastering yourself? Will you chase a legacy for applause or live a life that quietly transforms others? Your answer is not theoretical. It shows in your reactions, your choices, your habits, your relationships, and the battles you pick. You do not need to choose Nietzsche over Epictetus or Epictetus over Nietzsche. You need to recognize which one you have been obeying without realizing it, and decide if that path is truly yours. Now I want to hear from you. Share in the comments. Which voice resonates more with you and why? Your reflection may help someone else understand their own inner struggle. If this video brought you clarity or challenged your thinking, like it, share it, and subscribe to the Stoic Lighthouse. Your support keeps this community growing and keeps this light shining for those who seek wisdom in a chaotic world. And next time, we will explore how to build a mental fortress so strong that chaos cannot touch you. A guide to strengthening your inner defenses and protecting your clarity even when life becomes overwhelming. It is a journey into the mind's strongest form of resilience, and you will not want to miss it. John Steinbeck captured the essence of everything we explored today. A man is the sum of his choices, not the sum of his circumstances. See you in the next video.